Joy's story with Jack is absolutely incredible. I have never, in my experience, heard of a more unique story.
Jack was born to Joy Blackburn and Roger Williams in Colorado Springs, Colorado. At first, Jack developed normally, but around the age of 2, Joy started noticing some concerning behavior. Within a year, Jack was diagnosed with autism. For the first 9 years of his life, Jack remained in his personal, unique world, unable to communicate or completely process the three-dimensional world. He was considered functionally nonverbal. But when Joy introduced him to a video camera, it opened him up to understanding and language. Renee, Zachary, and I loaded up the car and headed down to the Springs to visit their family. When we arrived, we met Joy, Jack, and Jack's tutor, Gloria. The production crew showed Jack the equipment and cameras. While Renee and Zachary hung out, Joy and I sat down to talk about Jack's amazing story.
3 years old diagnosis, 3 to 9. What was life like for him?
So he had a feeding disorder, he had a sleep disorder, he had allergies, he had this autism. He was just a bucket of mess, this poor little boy. But he was obviously bright. Because one of the things that was so interesting for me with Jack's language is that he could repeat an entire movie back to you verbatim. He had no problem getting that information in, and keeping it.
Even though he wasn't verbally communicating, "Mom, I want juice."
No.
He was able to absorb a movie
and just cop the whole thing right back. But he could not separate the movement from the word, from the music of the language.
Now, 9 years old, nonverbal, you introduce him to a video camera.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, it changed his life.
It changed his life. It changed his life. When I got my BlackBerry about a year ago, I gave him, I transferred the service from the cell phone to the BlackBerry, and I gave him a dead phone, but it still took video. And he took to it like a house on fire. And the first thing he did was he went down to the basement and he recreated a scene from Thomas the Tank Engine. It was just unbelievable.
And he's narrating it.
And he's narrating it, but he's narrating it
according,
it was exactly verbatim.
Right. And from there, he just kept shooting and
shooting? So he was just shooting all the time. And what he would do then is he would start recreating a scene, and then he would start ad-libbing. And the first time I heard him doing that, I thought I was just not listening right. It didn't make sense, but in a way it did. It was like all the words that would make sense, he had sort of gathered together and then just dumped them out. Okay. And there was no syntax, there was no structure, but it was all the right words. And as he kept going, with each progressive video, the syntax became better, and you began hearing like the beginning of sentences and the end of sentences, and how one sentence and the next sentence made sense together. And it was he discovered for himself how to speak.
Mom, say, Sean, let Mr. Bump out.
Sean, let Mr. Bump out of jail.
Tell me about that, because you had mentioned to me when we talked on the phone about what you thought was going on. 3D world, way too much to process.
Yeah, way too much to process.
And how did this video camera help?
So what the camera seems to be doing for Jack is it's allowing him to pare out information. It allows him to just focus on one small piece of information at a time. I could call to him in his room and ask me to go to another room and go to Annalisa's room and get me the blue scissors and bring them downstairs. He would totally be able to do that now. And this is something 1 year ago I wouldn't have thought was going to be possible in his lifetime.
1 year.
He is now doing.
1 year.
1 year.
Talk about just, the amazingness of that. It's just incredible.
It is.
That he went 9 years nonverbal.
Nonverbal, functionally nonverbal.
And within a year of introducing a video.
And he's just Tarzaning through language. There's still a lot of what he says that makes him sound like a foreigner, but there isn't a man on the street that would not understand what he was trying to say these days. He figured it out on his own, and he figured it out almost at once.
Did he eat like camcorder?
Want me to eat your camcorder? Ready? Bad goat. Bad goat. The things you make me do.
Are you the main star of a lot of his shots?
The ones that he watches repeatedly are the ones where I look like an idiot.
And so he just started taking a video camera and exploring everything with
Exploring everything. There he sits, eating his breakfast. He's got his camcorder in front of him. He looks at everything that way. He can't use it in school, but he takes it with him to school. And he, as soon as the bell rings and he's, out of the classroom, that thing is out again. And he just looks at it and narrates his world.
Well, tell me about that. Tell me about that video, the competition. What
Yeah, it was.
What's all this about?
I got a notice from the school saying that the PTA was going to have a talent competition, and I knew that Annalise wanted. She's a choreographer, so I was very
Takes
proud of
after
that.
mommy.
Yeah, she wanted to do choreography, and I was thinking, I'm going to be shooting this for her. I'm going to basically be submitting a video. Jack should submit one of his videos. First place.
Jack's first film award.
Yeah.
What are you showing him?
I'm showing him your award. Do you remember you won this award for your movie?
About trains?
About trains.
It's the first award of many, I'm sure.
I'm hoping. He's really got a lot of talent. And what is so cool about his talent is that we're only seeing the beginning of it. Mm-hmm. It's all in there, and it's just now beginning to find expression.
The Anderson Cool Train! 104, 105, 106. Ow, my ears with the noise read.
So I was in his room one day, and the wind was blowing really strong, and it was making it was going under the eaves and going, woo, and Jack was sitting there videotaping his trains. And he looked up at me and just looked up at me. And I said, that's the wind. The wind is blowing over the roof and making music. And I picked up the horn. I said, if I blow into the horn, toot, I'm making music. The wind is making music on the roof. And he went back to his trains. And then he said, the wind was blowing and the roof began. It's like, sorry. The wind was blowing and the roof began to sing. I mean, what a beautiful thing to say. This kid that hardly could speak. It was just amazing. Excuse me.
It's okay. It's okay.
But he would not have been able to do that, before he started exercising his language through the use of the camcorder. Yeah. So who knows? Who knows what's going to come out of him next? Who knows where he's going?
A world of creativity in him.
Yeah, he does.
What do you see as Jack's future with filmmaking?
It's always going to be really important to him. Maybe he will be a filmmaker. Maybe. I really don't know where it's going to take him. I really don't. Maybe this is just something that's going to help him find something that suits him more directly, and we just don't know what that is yet. I don't know. I'm so grateful he's found it, because it's just been everything for him now.
Do you consider this like a miracle in Jack's life?
I do.
It's opened up.
I do. I feel like I've reclaimed him,
It was so amazing to me that a simple video camera could transform this boy from being nonverbal to being communicative, understanding, and really dynamic in his creativity.